What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 1 of Hell's Paradise. Now, this is the beginning of the show, and I know nothing about this other than the episode we just watched, but we will be discussing full spoilers from here on out. So if you haven't watched this first episode, I would definitely tell you to go check it out. This is another Mappa project, and it definitely seems to have the quality of one, so I would recommend you check it out. So, real quick recap. The episode is designed to kind of unravel some information over time, starting with essentially a shinobi named Gabimaru, who has been arrested, and they're essentially trying to kill him, execute him. They start off by trying to chop off his head. They go through details of what that takes to do that. They're not able to cut his head off. They try and burn his body. They try to pull him in half with cows. And the whole time this is happening, they're kind of going through this dialogue that they want to kill him. He wants them to kill him, but they can't. And he's trying to figure out why he can't die from what they're trying to do. While that's all happening, there is this kind of secondary timeline happening where there's an inspector kind of asking Gabimaru, his past, what's going on with him, just getting information from him, in which he kind of talks about how he comes from a village of Shinobi. He was an assassin, undefeated, killed a lot of dudes, had a wife who he kind of says is an idiot, didn't like her, blah, 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 blah. Throughout the episode, we find out that's not the case, of course. And yeah, so we get some background on him. He got set up by the people at his village. Once he tried to leave, we later find out he was trying to leave with his wife, and that was against the rules. So they set him up, and that is how he got captured and arrested. Later, we find out that this inspector, I forgot her name, first episode, so I'm happy I remember Gabimaru's name.
I don't even remember them. Did they even say her name?
They did once.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was, she had 3 parts to her name, and I forgot what it is. So
okay.
I will remember that eventually. But still getting used to the characters and trying to figure out what character is even going to stick around. Obviously, the Toad guy, I'm not going to remember his name because I don't think he's going to really be sticking around, but we'll see. So he's brought to a room with the inspector. He finds out this is actually a Ronin who is sent here on her own personal mission. We found out later she is looking for people for a job. But before that, she kind of tests Gabimaru and tries to essentially execute him herself. Gabimaru doesn't let this happen. And she starts pressing him on like, oh, I thought you wanted to die. Why aren't you letting me kill you? That strike would have murdered you, blah, blah, blah. And as he's coming to terms with like, yeah, that strike was actually like almost hit me. He's bleeding on the neck, stuff like that. She starts kind of pounding him on this idea of like, oh, you actually love your wife. You actually care. That's why you're trying to live. He starts fighting back, getting tested here. And then we kind of get the full story. Like I said earlier, he did actually care for his wife. He got set up when he tried to leave with her because the situation there is not too great. She got burnt on the face because she was essentially trying to live outside of the rules of the village, making her to herself ugly. And then also, just the whole system of him going out and killing for money obviously wasn't great for them, and he wanted to stop that for her. So there's definitely some stakes there for him. And so anyway, after this fight and kind of getting him to admit to all that, she pulls out a pardon, thank you. Pulls out a pardon, saying that not only will this pardon him from his crimes, but also protect him if he is pardoned. Then she offers him essentially a way out, and explains that there is a island that some people call Paradise, the underworld, a bunch of names, in which it is rumored that there is an elixir of life there. And about 5 different groups of people have gone to this island, and they always come back in pieces with flowers sprouting from them. The place they're going to apparently is this like paradise where you're hearing like beautiful voices and all sorts of weird stuff. There's butterflies and stuff, but people always come back dead, essentially. And yeah, so she wants him and other criminals to go to this island, get the elixir, and whoever can do that will get this pardon. So we have a show or a story for the show set up at that point where, you know, he's going to have to go get that to get his pardon, to get his wife. She did mention that there's other people who are going to go as well.
Yeah, because the Shogun said to grab expendable people and just send them.
And she was essentially testing to see if he had a will to live and if he had the capabilities of, you know, fighting for that. So they want somebody who's hungry for life, essentially, to go do this and come back alive. The Toad guy and his cronies don't want this to happen. They're just like, oh, this guy's replaceable. You can get somebody else. We're going to kill this guy. The whole episode, this dude's really been ready to murder Gabimaru, in which she says, this is coming straight from on high. You're not going to stop, you know, this. And they try to, in which Gabimaru shows her his jutsu, wherever the hell. Ninjutsu, yeah. And we don't really get to see what that entailed, but it does seem like he starts to do something. Some fire starts up on his body, and then later everyone's just kind of down, and he's looking little smoky. He I don't know what happened, so I'm sure we'll see more on that later. But yeah, he kind of proves his skills. She says they're impressive, and yeah, was there anything else I missed? Before they set up, they're going to Ito before they go to the island. He obviously doesn't want to go on a detour, but she says they're going there, and he has to do what she says if he wants the pardon. We got some outro credits. We got some intro credits, both in which I thought visually were cool looking, but the songs didn't do a whole lot for me. And yeah, impressions. First episode.
Well, to start with the OP and ED, I do think the visuals are very good. I think the opening song fits pretty well. Not something I would listen to outside of the show, but I do think it matches well for the sake of being an OP. So I like that. The ED, the song was a little, and I'm not the biggest fan of most EDs, so they're usually meant to kind of calm you down at the end of the show type of deal. It was okay, but the visuals were still pretty good. As far as the show itself goes, I think they did a good job in one episode just telling us what the direction of the story is going to start in. It was really clear. I really appreciate that. They did a good job of kind of fleshing out the character also right off the bat.
It's kind of amazing because like we just recently reviewed all of Trigun Stampede. If you want to go check out what we thought of that, we have episodic reviews and then a review of the whole season. But that show took about 3, 4, 5 episodes to give us an idea of what the story's going to be.
Yeah, that has a warm up.
This show, first episode, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. I'm sure things will change over time, but like we have a story that started.
I also
they did a lot in one episode.
Yeah, they did. The other thing I also like so far is like as far as like motivation goes, a lot of times, you know, motivation in not just anime but in shows in general is like people, you know, want more power, blah blah, you know, type of thing. And in this, it's literally just like he wants to, you know, save his wife from the life she lives, and that's nice to see because it's not really a common used trope in anime.
It's an interesting dynamic because like a lot of times romances is hinted towards
subtle, super
and
subtle,
then it like builds and you're like, oh, I hope they get together or whatever, but like this is already established.
Yeah,
he already has a wife, and I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it's the only thing he cares about, obviously.
Yeah,
because everything else just means nothing to him. So so the motivation is nice because it's a refreshing change of pace, at least in animes I've seen. Yeah, the art style I love. It kind of reminds me of old anime, but I really like the art style. Super clean looking. Yeah. I also love that it's got muted colors throughout it, but then like certain things like the island and then the ninjutsu have like this popping vibrancy to them. It's a really cool art direction. So
yeah, it's interesting. The show is super neutral looking, but then when you get the the more vibrant stuff in Paradise, it is more punchy. It does have an interesting contrast between the two things.
Even when he was on fire too, they did a really good job of like kind of showing this really like crazy face within the flames by just showing glowing eyes, but you still got a lot of emotion just from that one part of his face, basically. So, but I mean, Mappa's been killing it lately, so.
True. I mean, at this point, I just kind of expect if it's Mappa, it's probably going to be good.
Yeah. The actual, I'm going to call it a sparring match, even though like they're trying to hurt each other, but I feel like neither of them were going too hard.
She was testing him.
Yeah. And he was swinging out of frustration. It didn't seem like he was trying to necessarily kill her. But it was nice to see. I'm a sucker for katana sword fights, and being able to just kind of watch them swing at each other. Like, oh yeah, if the show's got a bunch of this, I'm fucking.
Oh, I hope there's a bunch of sword fights in this.
Yeah, and then with him being a ninja and her being kind of a samurai, I think it's kind of a good blend because I'm not the biggest fan of like ninja stuff.
Yeah, no,
but it can be fun. I love samurai stuff, and if she's going to be a continuing character, I'm looking forward to that. So, yeah, overall, I think it's a good first episode. Oh, also. And I know they do this with Attack on Titan. This is blasphemy, I know, but I haven't watched Attack on Titan, so I'm not familiar with it. But I heard Mappa plays with a lot of like audio effects with Attack on Titan, and this had some really subtle audio tracks, had these weird like popping noises happening, and I'm sure with headphones, real. It probably sounds crazy. So, I should rewatch it with headphones.
Chainsaw Man had great audio.
Oh yeah. Mappa cares about audio, which is nice. Also, I don't know who animated it, but the people who did Fire Force obviously really liked audio as well, because that's something I would totally recommend watching with headphones. A little tangent there, sorry, but that was. I appreciate that kind of stuff because it adds another layer of fun to the experience. So,
outside of music, I think a lot of times audio design in like just visual media is a lot of times overlooked, and lately
or too loud.
Yeah, but lately, specifically in like Mappa projects that I've watched, I've been really noticing a lot of the cool stuff they're doing with audio, which I think is really great because like when it comes to video games, I always really appreciate audio design. And lack of is always like whatever, that's normal. But like when somebody goes out of the way to do something cool, I love that, and I don't really expect that from anime. And lately, I am seeing that more and more. And so I really like that trend. Yeah. Because why not? Like you can do cool stuff with audio in an anime. It's not interactive, but like but as we saw here, it was a nice tension builder, that weird sound that they were doing.
Yeah, it was for a brief moment it was distracting, but
when I first heard it, I thought something in the room was making that noise.
Yeah,
I was like, what is that?
wild.
And I was like, oh wait, it's coinciding with the scene.
But I think they did a good job of like not like it faded in and out a lot, so it wasn't just constantly there annoying you. So
yeah, it was definitely there to just build tension.
But yeah, overall is a fun first episode. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. I think it was a good first episode. I think it was a decent hook to get people to want to watch it.
Yeah. And I don't mind like a slow burn when it comes to a story anyway, but after the last one we just watched, it is kind of nice to just have somebody just go like, boom, here's the story. Yeah, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, and we can do flashbacks as we go to get more backstory on these guys. So
yeah, but we got like a lot of background on Gabimaru, like right in the beginning, and then so we understand him as a character for the most part when it comes to what motivates him. I'm sure there's more to him, but like that's a huge motivator. And then we have an objective, and we have already, I assume, two main characters.
I assume as well.
And we've seen kind of what we're going to be getting into when it comes to their fighting style and their temperaments as characters. So it was really, really efficient episode.
Yeah, and so far I'm a huge I need to know her name, but like I'm a big fan of her character so far. I really like the calm, just like in control demeanor she's got.
I like also how she started
it up with skill. So
yeah, that was the thing that was neat, was she comes off like inquisitive because she's an inspector, which I thought was interesting, that there's someone just even like processing information from him, but then also that she is this like fighter, Ronin character, I was like, oh, okay, that's fucking cool. So yeah, I agree. I think she's a cool character, and Gabby Morrow, I'm sure, will be a cool character, but for the most part in the episode, he was being very held back because he was in a state of confusion on what he's even trying to do here. Which at first he thought he was just trying to die and couldn't, but after she pushes him enough, he realizes that he was suppressing feelings in a way that naturally his body was trying to protect him, while he thought he was, condemning himself to death.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky because, and I'm sure his character was, definitely very like edgy and, that's cool in its own way. But as far as like personality goes, this whole episode was a lot of him like having a wall up, and trying to break through that kind of stuff.
That's what she was doing.
Yeah.
That's literally the whole episode was her trying to get in there, but when she actually started like fighting him, that was just breaking him.
Yeah,
getting that gate, open.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing both of them expand, obviously, because we barely got anything from either of them. But I think it's a good starting point.
Yeah.
Also, his wife's adorable. So I love the dynamic that they have, where he was trained to be like this cold hard killer or whatever, and she's just got enough there to kind of like break through those little moments and stuff, and like kind of like keep him on his toes with her, because it definitely seems like he kind of needs that, because even his interaction with the inspector, someone needed to be kind of like, he needs someone to be like forcing him. So
well, he said that he was taken as a child and raised as a assassin.
Yeah.
So he has like no connection with parents or family. So having a wife who is I don't want to say forceful, but like persistent in caring for him, would make her something he would care about, because it's the only thing he has that offers him that.
Yeah, so. and he's not worried about her, physical flaws that were inflicted on her too. So I don't know.
It's a cool dynamic.
It is cool. I kind of appreciate that he doesn't just have like perfect waifu. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
She's just like a person with an unfortunate story, and he also has an unfortunate story, and it's a good pairing, I think. So
yeah, I agree.
Anyways, I liked it.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said. I kind of talked there a bit about what I thought as well, but basically, I really like the art style of this anime. Is the first thing that caught my eye when we watched the trailer for it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The trailer showed a lot more vibrant stuff, because I'm assuming that's coming. But that caught my eye. But also, I think the character design is really good. It's kind of basic, but also stylized in a neutral way. Like, it's not too crazy looking, but Gabby Moore was obviously stylized with his hair and stuff like that.
He's very much an edgy boy.
And the Ronin chick that I'll remember her name eventually has a cool style to her as well, but it's not too flashy. So I do definitely enjoy the style of the show so far. The animation seems decent so far. I haven't seen enough yet, but it's definitely been good. I do like the show pulls you in the beginning on not only the cliche story of like, oh God, I want to die, but nobody can kill me kind of thing. But the details of how they're trying to execute him, I thought was really interesting. It's a little edgy, like, oh, we're gonna burn him at 350 degrees, and this is what happens. But is interesting because they're laying out the details of how these executions work. So it adds even more weight to that he's not dying from it.
Or affected.
Yeah. Even the cow part was interesting, because that was the first thing that the inspector noticed, is not only did he not die from it, he resisted it and wore the cows out. So that kind of gave her some insight on like, oh, you're not just like not dying, you're actually resisting. Just like later we find out when the guy tried to chop his head off, he was like flexing. So he couldn't get his head cut off. So it was a really interesting introduction that made the episode interesting while unraveling, the main plot and motivations. I agree with the dynamic of him having a wife is a cool dynamic. In the short amount of time we saw with them, I like their dynamic. which is good because if I'm supposed to care about him and his motivations, I got to be able to care about what's important to him, and I get it. And yeah, combat was cool just because I also like samurai stuff. Not a big ninja guy, but it's cool enough. And in this, it seems pretty neat. I'd like to see more, obviously, and we will. But his background of being part of like a shinobi village, I think, is interesting. I'm glad it's not all just ninja stuff. I like that she is a Ronin, so you got a difference of styles and stuff. And yeah, fuck the toad guy. That guy, as soon as I saw him, I'm like, I hate this guy. But that happens in a lot of anime where like this character you're supposed to definitely dislike and they look like someone you're supposed to dislike. You can just spot him out. So yeah, anything bad happens to him, I'm okay with that. But yeah, overall, I think it was a really good first episode. Obviously, it's too early for me to say if I'm in love with the show or not, but it's a really good start. I'm definitely interested enough to continue this, watch the next episode, do another review. And as long as the story stays interesting and good, I think it'll be good because visually I'm already into it. So as long as the story doesn't kind of meander or go in a dumb direction, it should be really good. So, and Mappa took it on, so I assume it will be good because they've just been knocking out of the park lately, like you said. I mean, I'm watching. They're doing Vinland Saga season 2, right? Yeah, I'm watching that. They're doing a great job with that. So, I need to review Vinland Saga season 1 because I watched that, and I have a lot to say about that. But anyway, yeah, great first episode. Definitely want to see more. So, anything else you want to say on that?
No, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward episode. So they did a good job of, like you said, they gave us enough info like right off the bat to kind of just like, here's the character, here's his motivation, here's this person digging that motivation out, and here's the path. Yep. So
yeah, it was a very, very efficient episode.
Yeah,
I didn't feel like anything was wasted. At first, I'm like trying to keep up, but as I was keeping up, I'm like, no, they're doing a job relaying what happened, what's going on, and then yeah, by the end I was like, all right, let's go
for sure.
So, yeah, really smart and well done. So, all right, well, let us know in the comments what you guys think of this first episode of Hell's Paradise. Did you like it? Did you not like it? If you didn't like it, why didn't you like it? If you did like it, what did you like about it? If you're somewhere in the middle, tell me what you liked and didn't like about it. And what do you think about the characters? What do you think about the art style? What do you think about the story? What do you think about how they unraveled motivations and character development? And what are you hoping for when it comes to the show moving forward? And is this based off a manga? I'm sure it is.
Yes.
If you've read that, please no spoilers. We have not read that. And yeah, until the next episode, whatever that will be, probably this or something else. I'm sure other shows are coming out soon, right? Like Demon Slayer season 3.
I think second episode of this will be out before Demon Slayer.
Okay.
But they will be back to back, if I'm not mistaken.
Because we will be watching that as well.
Yeah.
I'm watching that
and
regardless.
I kind of want to check out. I don't know if you want to watch or not, but I keep forgetting the name. It's like Heavenly Adolescence or something like that. I showed you the.
No. It's Heavenly Delusion.
Yeah.
Dr. Interesting. I'd be willing to check that out. I don't know if I can do 3 shows and 3 reviews, but we can at least check out the first episode. And if it feels like something we can do a review on, we can. But that's a lot considering we do a podcast over on a different channel, and I got TikTok things. There's a lot of things that we spread thin across, but
for sure.
we'll fill it out. So because for sure we're doing Demon Slayer. We're doing this unless this gets boring, which I don't foresee that happening. So yeah. But I've been Seth, this has been Chevy, and we will talk to you guys later.